What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 186 of Behind the ToolBelt with TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. TC Backer.
Behind the Tool Belt is sponsored by Lead Scout. Find out more at leadscoutapp.com.
I just think our salespeople are being a little bit of, well, lead babies.
Yeah, we don't say lead babies. It's okay for people to specialize in selling instead of canvassing and lead gen for themselves. We call them roofing sales professionals.
Surprisingly, sales are way up as we've built heavier duty lead gen systems and let our salespeople be roofing sales professionals.
Better leads. TC Backer.
TC Backer family, episode 186. It is Wednesday. We have a really good episode today. We have a really good guest. But first, Tyrus, how are you, man?
I am living the effing dream down here in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Just finished up with a retreat, Revolt Couples Retreat, Leadership Retreat, hosted by Hunter Blue, the man, the myth, the legend himself. We got the awesome pleasure of listening to Chuck Toki. He brought the fire with some sales training and all kinds of other good stuff. Got to spend a little bit of time with him. Gary Chapman, those of you that don't know him or know him, he is the author of 5 Languages of Love. And of course, RD Saunders, who is, I believe, freaking amazing person. And the best way that I can describe him is that he's John Maxwell's right-hand man. And I feel as if it was just as good as having John here himself. And I think we talked about it a little bit last week. It would be like, Chris, if you kind of went someplace to speak on behalf of what it is that we're teaching or talking about, or John or Vic or Ippy or anybody like that, it would be just as good as if I was there and trust you enough to go there in place of me. That's how much respect I have for RD. That, and he married us here at the same exact place last year. So we got to celebrate our anniversary, Jan and I's anniversary, while we were here, our 15-year being in business, TC Backer Construction anniversary here, and just been having a phenomenal time with everybody and pouring into them and them pouring into us. It's been a great vibe, man. A good reset, reboot. Hopefully this lasts for a few weeks, if not a couple months.
Awesome, man. Very, very, very cool, man. And I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough to go do those things with the team at home. I mean, that just speaks volume to the teamwork and everything that you've built, man. I mean, it's 15 years in the making. Let's talk about that for a second here. 15 years is a pretty big feat, man. And the amount of growth that we've had and the family that we've built here at TC Backer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't even really know how to put it in words, man. You did a really good job with your post the other night. It goes further than that, man. It's the suppliers, it's relationships that we've built, man. You know, we all have careers. It's not just jobs, man. We have careers. You're going to have people that retire from this company, dude, that you built with your hands. So, kudos to you. Vic's
Thank
raising
you.
his hand. You got a while yet, dog. Don't even play.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. We gave him what's called the golden handcuff.
Golden hand.
That's right.
Yeah, congratulations, man. 15 years is huge.
That is, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, 5 years in the roofing industry is a lifetime, right? I mean, at least that's what I've heard. And to get 15 years under your belt, and it actually goes back a little further than that. And I'm not trying to stroke my socks right now or anything, but it actually started back in 2005. We didn't document it in LLC till 2008. So that's kind of the date that we use. If anybody wanted to search it on paper, that's what they're going to find is July 17th, 2008 is when TC Backer was born. So that's kind of the date that we stick with. And even back in 2005 and 2006, I was kind of part-time at that time, dabbling with it. I was actually bought my first rental property back then. So I was dabbling with that, didn't quite know which direction I wanted to go. And just kind of went all in on roofing. And my post, you know, I didn't exaggerate where I said, you know, I had no direction, not a pot to piss in, or a window to throw it out of at that time. I knew I was good with my hands. I came from a previous company doing the same exact thing, and felt like I was pretty good at what I did. And people were pretty satisfied after we were completing, you know, their job. And I came from the production side of things, install. I was an installer, siding, windows, gutters, roofing. And, you know, it's not been easy. You know, we didn't have, you know, like we were talking about earlier before we got on the show here, you know, we're talking about, you know, if you want to learn how to do something, man, you just YouTube it, Google it, read a book on it, whatever. We didn't have access to things back then. You know, we just had to kind of figure it out and pay a bunch of dumb tax. And I was talking to Hunter while we were here, and he said, you know, you should write a book. And but also do a podcast on the top 10 things not to do starting out in, you know, roofing business. And you know, I think that could possibly be, you know, a good topic one night if it was just Chris and I, or maybe we get another entrepreneur who's got some time under his belt to maybe go and review some of our top 10, you know, greatest failures, right, early on in business, and even still today. You mean, but the top things then 10 things that I wouldn't do again, and potentially even talk about maybe the top things I would do again, duplicate, or we continue to do today, you know, because we talk about, you know, stick with the basics. You don't ever have to go back to them. And that's true to a certain extent, I guess. But yeah, it's not been easy. There's been a lot of wins, a lot of losses, a lot of victories, and a whole lot of fail forwards, man. But it's all made the person that we are. It has made the company that we are today to stand the test of time with a solid foundation. And we've gone through just about anything possible, whether it's from personal, mental, spiritual, economic crisis and pandemics, right? Health crisis, right? Like we've gone through everything in that short amount of time. And when I was talking to Hunter, I was like, you know, I don't know if I should feel some kind of way because it has taken us this long, or if I should look at it like it's only taken us this long to get where we're at today. But I think the picture says it all. That picture that I posted on that post yesterday, or the day, whatever day that was, Tuesday, I guess, Monday or Tuesday, that's actually posted on the wall down here. And when I saw that, it really resonated with me. And that's kind of how it's been, right? Like go fast enough to get there, but yet go slow enough to see, you know. And there was a lot of times I couldn't see, you know what I mean? There was a whole hell of a lot of times that I couldn't see. And still today, I feel like sometimes it's too close, and not because I'm moving too fast, but because I'm too close and I'm too far in the weeds. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for asking, and for everything that you do, and everybody that's watching, and everybody on the team. Like, we couldn't do this without you. And the moment that I realized that it wasn't about, you know, how the hell am I going to do all this? And I diverted my attention more over to who who the hell am I going to get to help me do this? I think that's probably one of those lessons that I learned over the years. The quicker I let go, the quicker we were able to explode.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's a good start. Good start to the podcast.
Yeah, a great story too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many years of knowledge and everything else that you guys probably went through that I know that you could probably share out there and help out so many different people.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to probably start doing a little more of that too. You know what I mean? Being more real intentional about, helping. Not that we don't help contractors in our industry and things like that, but being super duper intentional about that and really starting to throw some things out there, and potentially going to construction companies and helping them find out what's wrong. Like why have you been in business as long as you have and maybe have not grown, or preventing them from failure early on, right? If they've been in business 1 to 2 years, because that's the statistic, within the first 24 months, 80% of roofing contractors go out of business. We want to change that statistic, and we want to change it really bad. And we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do it. We're going to be about it, and we're going to actually go in and fly into people's places and dissect and tear their shit apart and figure out what the hell is going on and implement some of the things that we do that's helped us, and potentially even learn. Maybe we'll get there and we'll find something that they're doing that's pretty rad that we should actually be implementing ourselves, which is probably one of my biggest excitements about that, is like going over, to somebody else's shop and seeing how they do things first and foremost, and seeing what works and what doesn't work, because I don't know everything. And that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years as well, is that I don't know everything, and I'm cool with that. And I'm glad I don't, and I'm glad that I don't pretend that I do, because I don't have a big enough head for all that shit. So I just ask questions.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Got to soak it in.
Yeah, for sure. So let's revert some gears here, man. Josh, what the heck's up with you, man?
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm glad you guys asked. So, now I'm actually going by Joshua Gless, like I was kind of like right before. And I'm the business development guy over at Kanner Pintaluga, who is a property damage firm down in Florida. So, down here, there's a lot of different people that were going through all the damage during the hurricanes, and they're still fighting with their insurance companies. And that was kind of like the whole. Well, I mean, that was part of it as to why I wanted to kind of like learn and understand. But, I like to really dissect everything and try to learn from all the different areas. And this is a great way to really start diving into like the legal aspect of it, to help out other people that are out there.
Yeah.
So super excited about it. Plus I get to stay in Florida, and I get to serve all the people here in Florida as well. So.
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know, we actually met Josh when he was with iRoofing. iRoofing? It's iRoofing, right? The dinosaur.
That's cool.
Dinosaur coaster.
Yeah.
I still have sitting on my desk, actually. Pretty
Nice.
cool coaster. But what made you make this change, man?
I was, after a while, I was just sitting, I was kind of going through, and I absolutely love my job and like what I was doing over there. And it was just kind of got to a point where, how am I going to grow or succeed from here? And, what are some of the different avenues, or how can I help out people more? I'm not gonna lie. It was tough, like making that like change, that transition, like, hey, you know what, this is where I'm going to go to. But, it was funny when I was traveling to Arizona to go see my family, you never really realize like how much of a change or like what you were into before. Probably like you guys are always wearing your shirts. I went to go pack my bag, and like I have like 50 shirts of iRoofing, because that's like all I ever wore. Even like when I went out, I had some type of collar shirt, and then I just put it on top of it. That part of it was a tough transition, but I feel like it's for the best. And there was no bad intentions or anything else when I left. Left on great terms. They're still out there succeeding and planning on releasing like new things. And I want to make sure that like I keep that relationship that's there. Because that's always going to have like a little heart, a piece of my heart over there. So, going through that whole change and everything else, but, just trying to understand, okay, look, this is where I'm coming from. And I really owe so much success to them, but then also to everybody else that like I spoke to during those times. you know, the contractors that I met with, you know, going through numerous Zoom calls, you know, the days where, you know, I made like 200, 300 phone calls and nobody was picking up. You know, it's just those different struggles that people go through in life that just try to like help you realize and understand everything that, you know, what is the next steps as to what you're evolving to.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know, for the longest time too, I think a lot of us, at least for myself, I should speak for myself on this, is that I actually thought two things. And I know you think, you know what I'm going to say right now, but I thought you owned it. I actually thought that you owned iRoofing for I don't even know how long. I mean, probably until we actually met each other face to face, wherever the hell that was. But then secondly, and I know this was the biggest letdown of all, is that we actually thought your last name was iRoofing.
Yeah, you know, that was you know, that's one of those things that it was just easy because it's Joshua from iRoofing, and then it evolved into Joshua iRoofing, because then it's just like, hey, this is Joshua from iRoofing, you know. And I was trying to put together something that people could just easily say, hey, look, I know that he's exactly from this where, so it's like an easy way for them to you know, put it together, like, okay, I know who this guy is, let me talk to him a little bit more. And you know, it's just like some of the different past episodes that you guys have done. I mean, even with Black and White, you know, with what they do is just, you know, keep it simple, or, you know, go out there, you're wearing your shirts, you're doing these different things. You know, you got to keep it simple for people to kind of like remember and realize who you are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through
sure.
the other day, man, and actually I think it was yesterday, because we actually found out that we weren't even friends on Facebook. And Josh blessed me today, Ty, and told me that he actually had to delete somebody to accept my friend request. So
Nice.
I feel blessed about that. That's pretty cool. But I've seen you rocking behind the ToolBelt gear,
Yes.
man, in some pictures. Not even promo pictures either. Like, my man's just walking the streets and behind the ToolBelt gear. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, you know, I was out at FRSA, and you know, the Florida the Florida Roofing and Sheetrock Association, or Sheet Metal Association. They have a great conference, and you know, it's one of my favorite conferences. And you know, I like to bring, you know, light to people that you know, that I know and I love and I've watched over times. And you know, there's been so many great guests that you guys have spoken to, and you know, I really appreciate you guys for, you know, even allowing me the opportunity to be on. And you know, so anything that I can personally do to help you guys out, that's, you know, what I'm about.
Yeah, awesome, we know that firsthand, man. You were one of the only people that actually helped us tear behind the ToolBelt down when we were in Fort Lauderdale at Wind the Storm conference. Not that we're bashing anyone else, but you were like overly, like, you weren't taking no for an answer. You insisted that you helped us, and it was hot as shit too down there, but you sweated it out with us, man. And we're very sincere. And you know, we took you literally when you said, you know, no, I want to help you. You meant that. And a lot of people, or a lot of hot wind, like, yeah, give me a call anytime, I'll be there for you. But usually they're the first ones that don't even answer the phone. But Joshua, I got to say, anytime that I've ever reached out to you, texted you, messaged you through Messenger, or even called you, man, you were right there. And not that I ever needed anything major, but just more so shoot the shit and know that, and I knew that you were my friend, you know, true friend, right. You know. And what's kind of cool is that we don't have to see each other every day, even once a week. I mean, we whenever we do run into each other or we reach out, it's like we kind of pick right up where we left off, you know, right there in Fort Lauderdale, or even the time before that, or the time before that. But one of the thing that interested us the most is when you made that switch. Right away, you know, we reached out to you and was like, yo, dude, so what are you doing now? What's the plans? What's the future hold for you? And it seems like, I guess at this point in time, are you considering yourself, you know, a property claim specialist now? Would that be your title?
No, so I'm a business development specialist, right? And so I work for the law firm that goes and they help these homeowners actually go after and get the full amount of money for the damage of their houses, right? Or, you know, commercial buildings and everything else. And so, you know, I'm kind of like the gap that kind of like helps bring people in, you know. And I get, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be able now to connect with, you know, everybody across the board. And, you know, it's not just, you know, when I was working at iRoofing where it was just roofing companies, but I mean, you know, it's, it's the general contractors, it's the electricians, it's the plumbers, it's the the stylists that are out there, it's the school teachers, it's even like the farmers. And it's just more or less, it's great because I love, because I feel like I can really connect with some of these people on like a different level. And I mean, to be honest with you, I never even thought I would have ended up at a law firm. And when I was kind of like looking around, I mean, it wasn't even the best offer that was out there, but it was by far it was one of the easiest choices that I was able to make, because during the whole storm and everything, Derek and some of the other people over at KMPA, like I watched them go through it. They were holding their food drives. They invited me out to help them out as well, and it was just really encouraging to me to see so many different people out in an organization. Even like the lawyers were out there like getting goods and then handing stuff out and doing all these other things, and it was very motivating for me to kind of see even afterwards, as far as, hey, what happens after the storm? Like, what are some of these different things that people have gone through? And now I've been, it's coming up on the 10 months since Hurricane Ian hit. There's still places over here that are completely devastated. I drove through Fort Myers Beach yesterday because I was trying to find a good location, because I was hoping to have like that backdrop. I didn't necessarily have the best internet or anything else in some of the different places. It kind of kept going up and down. And plus it was thunderstorming here just like a little bit earlier, but there's places that I remember going to, and like after the storm happened, but until now, I mean, there's places that are like completely gone, right? And they don't have some of like the building scrap or whatever that's there anymore. It's just gone because they've removed a lot of that different debris and everything else. But it's hard to kind of see and imagine, as far as like, hey, there's still people that don't even have electric down there that's not connected. And seeing kind of like this things that, these people struggled with, and, hearing firsthand, the stories that some of these people have told and like what they've went through. It's alarming, and to see like people and everything else that have to go through these struggles once they have, a big old catastrophe like this, then they have to struggle and go after, their insurance, which they, required to pay it, every single month. And then, they're not necessarily paying the full amount, or they want to play games, or, they try to, maybe not like pay that full amount of stuff that needs to be replaced. Like at that point, I mean, what's the point of having insurance, right? And so, when you see these stories and, seeing what these people go through, like hearing them is crazy. I mean, it's I know a lot of people out here that still, like, when a storm comes through, they're still like thinking like, oh my God, like what's going on? And that just, that PTSD is just, it doesn't let up, and you could just really feel it. So I mean, that can have something to do with it. And, I mean, I've watched these guys around for a while, because I mean, Derek is, my boss now. I mean, I've watched everything that he does, and, the people that he talks to, and I was just inspired to come and work with them, and, see like the construction industry on a different side of things as well, to figure out different ways that I might be able to bring like my past knowledge and experience, to the table to help people across, other spectrums.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
No,
Awesome.
that's great. So I guess I'm still kind of confused. So you work for a law firm. Now, do homeowners hire you guys to go out and battle with the insurance companies to pay for like what's rightly theirs? That's correct. Is that what you guys do?
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So what is it that you're doing? Are you the guy going out and inspecting the jobs and coming up with no?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm doing is I'll basically go out there and I'll meet, like when we have like different events and stuff, and it's just like a marketer, right? Like I'm basically just marketing who is, Kanner Pintaluga, right? And we have like hurricanedamage.com. And so like these people can go on there, then what they're able to do is they can start, going through the process, say, hey, that we're interested. And then, we'll onboard them. We have, it's great because we have a free case, review, so that they can actually go through with a lawyer and kind of find out, hey, look, we think that you have something here, or, hey, you know what, we don't have something here. And, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, if they don't win or, you know, get like that portion of their check or whatnot, I mean, my company is going on a limit saying, hey, look, you don't even have to pay if you lose, type thing. And so, I mean, we want to make sure that, you know, we're not wasting their time, you know, and, you know, also our time as well. We want to make sure that these people are taken care of.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, that makes more sense, because I wasn't sure if you were a guy actually going out and like inspecting the roofs or the interior of their homes to kind of justify, you know, help justify with the homeowner that, you know, to the insurance company that, yes, these are legit damages, that their policy does cover these types of things. So basically, like, what are you waiting for? I wasn't exactly sure. I should have probably asked you that before the show, but I kind of just envisioned you, because from your previous you know, content that you've posted before in years past, like when you guys do have storms down there, I see you out there firsthand out in the storm and making sure like your neighbors are okay, and like you and your children are out like donating water and your time to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe. So that's where I kind of envisioned you being like that guy going out and making sure that homeowners were okay, and that making sure that you know, that the insurance companies were doing the job that they were supposed to be doing. And basically you were the voice and advocating for the homeowner, which I'm sure you still do, because I know that's in you anyhow.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's all part of it, because I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's just more or less, you know, like when you guys have your guys that are wearing their shirts that's out there, I mean, it's just, you're basically like you're marketing, you know, to other people and saying, hey, look, this is who I'm with, you know, and if they ask questions and everything else, you know, then you can start opening up those conversations. And it just, you know, it's always a conversation getter. And, you know, and I know that sometimes, you know, people, they don't want to necessarily talk about this or whatever outside of work. I know I go through my little spouts where I don't want to say, you know, not really want to do anything, but, you know, there's so many different people out here that don't know the whole insurance process, or they have allowed themselves to be persuaded by, you know, these big insurance companies and saying, you know, that, hey, this isn't, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, or like, you know, these guys are, you know, leeches or whatnot. I mean, but you got to look at it. I mean, everyone across every spectrum is it has some bad in it, you know. Even the homeowner, sometimes at the end of the day, we're at US contractors, you know, one of my best friends was telling me this, is like, hey, look, you know, we've gone through and we've done the whole entire work, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm not going to pay you. Right. Or they're going to try to hire somebody else, even though you went through that whole work. It's just, you know, it's just educating them on the proper procedures, and, you know, making sure that they understand the policies. And we're going to start doing a whole education series on that alone. It's just more or less, hey, look, you know, this is what you need to take a look at, you know, because lawyers already, I mean, you know, there's great lawyers out there. Like I said, I never thought I'd be working for one. But it's, you know, that whole thing with trust, you know, you hear lawyers and you're like, oh, you know, I'm going to back off and I'm going to run away. But it's a lot of times these lawyers that have helped get these guys, you know, those additional, you know, the additional money that they need to replace their stuff, you know, like say, for example, I mean, this one lady, she just got 30,000 from the insurance company, but that doesn't, you know, that doesn't even pay for the windows. That doesn't pay for the roof. That doesn't pay for, you know, the, like the interior damage as well, you know, and then it's like, how are you going to pay for all that stuff? And then what happens if another hurricane comes through?
Yeah.
You know,
what is happening? Like, what is happening with the people whose homes were devastated? Because here's the thing that you notice, and I don't want to like get too far off in any kind of like political weeds or anything like that. But I'm just going to say, I feel like there's always coverage when the stuff happens, but there's never any coverage after the fact when there's rebuilding and there's that kind of stuff going on. Like what is happening with the people whose homes were devastated? I mean, are they just having to stay in hotels? Like, if you're getting stiffed by the insurance company, like, what do you do if you don't have the money to stay in a hotel room? Like, and I mean, we're talking a year's worth of hotel rooms here. Like, that's expensive.
Yeah, you know, and it is. And I know that, you know, let's say, for example, I mean, some people that I met here right afterwards, you know, they are still living like in a little condo that they got, right? Because they didn't have anywhere else to go to. They still can't go back to their home. They still don't have electricity. I think it's in September when they're supposed to actually get their electricity back, you know, and, you know, you have these people that, you know, like, some people that like lost their cars, they lost everything. And so, how is it that they even get around sometimes?
Yeah.
It's definitely tough after the hurricane and stuff. And the Hurricane Ian was actually classified up to a Cat 5, so it's not even a 4 anymore. It's considered a 5 because they sustain those certain wind damages and everything else. And it's so widespread, and there's different pockets have different things. You have the ones that have like the water damage where they had the water rushing in, and you hear the stories. Even I heard one just the other day how a lady was hanging on to a cooler that was floating by, and she was able to hold on to that for a while, and then she ended up at a truck, and then she was hanging out. So I mean, there's so many different stories that are out there that these people already go through, and it's just every time you hear it, you're just like, man, what can I do, or how can I help these people get back to where they need to go to a lot faster than what's being done now?
Right
Gotcha.
on, man. Yeah. So what are some common types of property damage or loss that you have encountered so far?
Well, I mean, you got roof, you got windows, you got siding, you got pool cages. Obviously, you got interior damage. Drywall everywhere is completely ripped out. I mean, houses are completely gone. They're gutted out. Some of them are cut in half. One lady, that from the storm that I was there on day one, I've never showed the video because it's just it's too much. But she was showing me where she was hiding inside of a closet. And like with her and her family, and the roof completely ripped off. And it's like 6 feet from where they are, and it's just, and because it's like that day one footage, it's like less than 12 hours, it's probably like 3 hours, 4 hours, like after light, and seeing what they've kind of like gone through, and then saying, oh yeah, I don't know if I should talk to anyone because I've heard that they're bad, but she's still not even all the way whole, and her whole house was gone. Half of her roof ripped off and blew into the neighbor's house, caused the damage there, like ruined their car. And people are fighting, oh, well, maybe this isn't that, so my whole point is, in why I'm even here, is just because the fact that I want to figure out the ways that I can do to help them out with the homeowners and everything else, get into like their houses faster, like quicker and faster at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So those are the stories that you're down there hearing, and it's like it's almost like they've been forgotten. I guess I can't even imagine the devastation. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and for most of us in America, we have forgotten, Ian, that has come through down there. But you guys are still living in that nightmare. At least most of you, I guess. I haven't been to Florida for quite some time, so it's like it's not been on the forefront of my mind. And like you said, they're suffering from probably still having freaking nightmares, and probably some people, I would imagine, are homeless and all those things like that. And I know the laws and stuff have changed down there. So do you think because of some of the laws changing in the state of Florida, is this why this is happening to most homeowners, or is this something that's been going on for a long time?
It's been progressively, I mean, if you talk to most people, it's progressively kind of getting like a little bit worse. It's more kind of like insurance sided type things. I was talking to a couple different, law groups and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a matter of like forming, together, like a whole group, and then just going in and trying to educate people and go to Tallahassee and say, hey, look, like the insurance carriers, they have lawyers and everything else, they're on their books, they're there, they don't charge anything different. Right. And one of the laws was like, now, if there's anything that happens afterwards, right, then the homeowner still got to pay for the lawyers out of the money that they win, which even if it was opposed to like the amount that's going to fix the house. So, there's a lot of different things that, that are on there that, both good and bad. It's just a matter of trying to navigate through and make sure that they understand how to view things properly. Right on.
So have you noticed any emerging trends or changes, I guess, in the property claims industry recently, I'm kind of circling back to the same question here, but what changes have you seen, like, or has this been going on this forever in the state of Florida? Like, I guess I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around, like, I typically, if I have to call my insurance company, which thank God I haven't had to do very often, they come out, they assess the damage, and they help us recover from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And a lot of times, I mean, even like car crashes, for example, one thing I didn't even know about before, when you get in a car crash, I forget like the actual thing that it's called, but when you get your car crashed into, right, you have like like an amount that you can actually go after as well, because once your car is in a crash, it makes it that value go down in price.
Is it like tort?
No, it's not. That's not the actual legal name. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to remember, but it's just like the little things and like the little loopholes where people don't necessarily know,
Gotcha.
that's out there that they can, actually, go after. I mean, there's even like a lot of companies that had like checks that were delivered to, some of these different people that are out there that have these insurance policies, and these people think that, hey, you know what, that's all I'm getting, from there, or, I'm not going to file a claim, I don't want to deal with it, or, and a lot of these people, they've been dealing with so much stress, like they're to the point where they just don't want to keep like prolonging it because they have like a certain amount of time, that they can even file these claims. And, they're almost to the point where they're like, you know what, screw it. I'm just getting ready to move on because I'm tired of dealing with all this.
Yeah, you brought up a good point earlier, man. The PTSD. A lot of these people, you're hiding in a room with your family. I mean, I can only imagine huddling in a closet with my young kids while my roof is getting ripped off my house, thinking that, like, is my child going to fly out of my arms? Like, and then every time it storms after that, I'd imagine there's some kind of PTSD that goes on, and like these people probably just want to move on and heal, man. And the more you got to talk about the shit, the more you got to deal with it. You never really can move on and heal from that if that wound just keeps getting reopened. Because I'd imagine that's going to be the scariest times of these people's lives that they're ever going to experience. I mean, hopefully that's the scariest thing that they're ever going to have to go through. And I can't imagine having to deal with that, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a nightmare. And you see the look on these people's faces when they tell these stories, and I always feel like I can kind of feel like how other people are feeling in a sense, especially when they're going through this type of thing, like I've gone through it myself, and it's a miserable feeling. It's a feeling of, you lost everything. Like, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really devastating to your soul, to just think that like all this stuff that has just been ripped out, and but it's also to the point of like, trying to step up and trying to, how get yourself back onto track and stuff. There's a great scripture, and you guys will kind of make fun of me because it's in Joshua. It's Joshua 1:9. It's it just talks about like being bold and courageous, and it just I'm trying to remember the whole verse. Hold on, I'll look it up real quick because I know I don't have it memorized. But it's be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Right. And so it's just trying to instill like that that being bold and courageous, and you can move on from these type things, and just matter of how are we going to do together as a community to kind of back them up, or are these companies that I've been paying for 30 years, are they going to step up to the plate and going to help me recoup what I lost, right? Or are they going to give it 30,000 when it takes 85,000, and then now I'm going to be stuck with trying to come up with that extra money, the extra $55,000 when you're living paycheck to paycheck, but now I got to replace all that other stuff that I just lost. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of like goes into it. So yeah, it's just the PTSD and everything else, and just trying to show people that, hey, look, there's different ways, and there's people that are around there to kind of like help you as well. And so, I mean, that's ultimately what drives me the most. I mean, everybody has like their different point of views, and I like to have fun just like everybody else, but sometimes it can just be a little bit overwhelming and devastating.
Right on, right on. So what steps what steps should a homeowner take when there is conflict between the policy, the policy holder and the insurance company? What steps?
There's so like I'm just getting there, so like I'm actually getting ready to release like this whole document that actually goes through. And so I have help with like the lawyers and everything else, because as a reminder, like I'm not a lawyer, so I just want to kind of put that out there. But it's just more or less like the different steps that you're going to be able to take to help walk through that process, to make it seamless. Because even like taking pictures and videos of your house beforehand, that goes a long way, because then that's like, shows like the damage before, it shows the damage afterwards, which, some people don't necessarily have like those different tools and everything else. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to kind of like releasing out there to kind of start helping it out. And because this is like such a new thing to me, and like I said before, like, the whole lawyer thing, I just want to make sure that I have all the written down like language and like everything all set and ready to go.
Yeah. So should they call the law firm that you work for? Is that a part of the process?
So it's you got to call your insurance company. You got to file a claim in general, right? And then there's different people that are out there that can help you walk through those different steps. And there's people you can even walk through those steps yourself. We're the people that just come in afterwards to help you to navigate through it, like afterwards, if like they're like, hey, look, or if they, there's some people that just don't want to deal with it at all. I mean, the stress that they just went through, they don't want to have to like go through all of the stress now trying to file everything. And I mean, there's good public adjusters and, construction companies out there as well that, that can help walk along that process, with those different homeowners. But it's the, like for them knowing the proper ways in the very beginning, and not necessarily saying, hey, look, these are, don't talk to these people, like when the governor and like the news and stuff came out, and they were basically calling, what was the word that they're using? I'm trying to remember now. They're calling contractors, God, what was it? Like roaches or something. I'm trying to remember. But there's a lot of great people that are out there that are there to help you out, that are going to, help you get that assistance that you need to. I know so many different roofing companies that were out there on the front lines that rode out the storm with these people and that were helping their neighbors out, and going above and beyond all expectations.
Right on. So basically, if a catastrophe like this happens, the first thing that they should probably do is call their insurance company. At that point, once they do that, what is the insurance company's response at that point in time? Like, do they say,
typically,
okay, call a contractor?
No, I mean, they like, in every company is a little bit different, and that's why it's kind of like tough to say sometimes too, because you have all these different insurance companies and what their steps are, what they recommend. That's, just, I've watched so many different videos on all the different ways that these guys are asking. So, I reached out to some of the, top leaders and the firm and everything else that's dealt with this for a long time. And, we went through and plan on getting with a bunch of different, attorneys that are out there to kind of like bring together this group to really build out, what is the best steps to go through, because, I don't want anyone to have to go through these steps, like have to go through this stuff ever, but it's like one of those things where you got to know, okay, look, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be saying. This is what I need to be documenting, because when you go through that, I mean, people start doing things that they wouldn't necessarily normally do. It's just gets you into second nature type thing. You clean up your property and then you take your pictures, right? Or you fix a leak, then you take your pictures, right? And that actually happened quite a bit. It's just that's these people just went through this devastating thing and they just want to clean up the mess and move on with their lives.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. And it has to be. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Thank God we don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. But I did see pictures. And again, like I said before, I kind of forgot about it until I started talking to you a couple of weeks ago about Florida again and the devastation from Ian down there. But so I guess once once a contractor comes out, and you said a contractor can help facilitate this with the homeowner, right?
Right.
And at
Well,
that point, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead and finish. I apologize.
Yeah, no. So if they call the insurance company, homeowner calls a contractor comes out, puts a tarp on the roof, does whatever he can do, I guess, at this point in time to try to keep the home as watertight as he possibly can. I guess then what happens? Does the homeowner just kind of sit around and wait for an insurance check to come? Does the homeowner sit around and wait for a public adjuster to come out? Explain this process for a homeowner that may be watching. God forbid something happens in the great state of Pennsylvania or Delaware or New Jersey, and there's somebody out here watching. Like, what should they do? I guess give us the soup to nuts version of, not necessarily what it is that you're doing. For some reason, I lost video here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, cool. There it is.
Yeah, you turned into a QR code there.
Yeah, did you zap it?
I didn't have time to do it pretty quick.
That was a subliminal message.
Yeah,
man,
what was that?
On the replay.
That was a subliminal message. So you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vic, for the message, everybody. Anyhow, I guess I'm more concerned that if this would happen to a homeowner, and I know this is a concern of yours too, that they know exactly what to do if this situation happens again. Obviously, most people should probably just leave the state of Florida if something like this is happening, right? First and foremost, just get the hell out of town, because you may end up floating down, the whatever it is, I guess, at this point in time on your cooler, right? Or hiding in your closet, right? Like some of these stories that you're telling us. And I know a lot of people, I know me, I would probably ride it out. I'd be that knucklehead that would ride it out. But I guess, what would I do? What am I supposed to do? I call my insurance company, then what at that point?
Yeah, well, I mean, as homeowners too, I mean, a lot of policies, they're responsible to stop any type of, further loss from happening, any type of mitigation. And these insurance companies, and that's why I'm saying a lot of these different steps are different for each one, but I mean, you got to stop that loss in general, make sure that there's not any further damage being done. And you got to mitigate that loss. That's why a lot of these contractors that are out there afterwards, they're trying to help tarp, all these different homes so that, it's not going to be, raining inside their properties, or, it's not going to bring, any of that further wind damage or anything else that's, ripping out. And so, and then from there, you have, once you stop that, then there's different steps that each insurance company has, that they'll walk through. But there's, all these great professionals that are out there. And that's why I'm saying that you can start walking through these different steps and making sure that you're not, you're not deviating to basically make them want to not approve your claim type thing. And so, and that's what I'm saying, as far as, I want to make sure that I have all the proper, steps and everything else in place, because there's a lot of different things that people will say. And then, they'll be like, oh, well, I was watching this. And, so that's why I want to have that actual verbiage for you guys as well. Because I'm not that lawyer, I am a, business development specialist. And so, I want to make sure that I make that clear as far as hey, look, this is, there's certain steps that you can make, and you can take to go along the process to make sure that you stop any further damage from happening. But, I saw this last storm, I saw a guy going out and trying to do some of this stuff himself. He went to Home Depot and bought some of these different things, and then they're holding it against him for basically trying to, stop the leak himself type thing. And so there's different things like that where I'm trying to say is they can construe different ways. And that's why I want to make sure that I have these steps for you guys. And I will, make sure that I share this, with you guys as well, because this is one of my big things. I mean, Alex Kobe, he's one of my great friends. I mean, he works for a different law firm as well. And we're trying to really establish this togetherness that's kind of, I feel like it's kind of branched out and bring people together more to kind of help each other out a little bit more, and doing it the legal way to make sure, hey, look, these are the legal steps right? To make sure that you are walking the line so that you can get back into your home as quickly as possible, right? I just don't want to like accidentally just miss a step because, I'm just thinking I'm on here, and then all of a sudden somebody is like, hey, well, look, you missed this step. And then they're like, oh, well, that's why I want to try to make sure that I'm helping everyone do the proper things like along the way so that they don't run into those little common steps that might stop them or might delay them like even a day from getting back into their houses or like delaying their process.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I know it's, I know I'm trying to like, skirt the question a little bit, but it's because I want to make sure after learning a lot of these different policies and a lot of these different rules, right? The simple little things that people go through when they're going through these different, steps that they've done that stopped them. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to help out.
No, you did a great job explaining that. Now, I'm going to kind of switch it around here a little bit. So in a time of need and crisis like that, and there's contractors running all over the place, and I think like a homeowner would be apt, especially under that amount of stress, right? How would a homeowner go about? And I know these are questions that but I feel like you've been in the industry long enough and can answer, with your opinion and nobody else's. But how would a homeowner go about vetting a contractor? With if it's a neighborhood and there's 5 people knocking on the door or whatever the case might be, how would a homeowner protect themselves by choosing the right contractor?
That's a great question. I mean, as far as when, I go to vet out contractors that I'm using, I look at see if they're established within the community. How many, the reviews. I try to like dig through like some of the different reviews and stuff that are out there as well. But did you hear from somebody as well? And there's like just find out, like, read the long term as far as like, okay, well, like what is the actual steps? Are you guys going to, just be in and out type thing, or how long have you guys been established? And it doesn't necessarily mean like, hey, you know what, you were here, like you just established your company 3 months ago, but maybe you offer the best service. It's just making sure that they do that due diligence to make sure that the person that they're using is trusted and that's reliable.
Yeah, great information. I mean, I think one of the biggest things too is you should probably always get 3 estimates, right? The insurance company is going to probably recommend that, and during that process, and what sucks is nothing's going to happen with a snap of a finger, especially during something like Ian. But like you said, you need to vet people, right? Because not everybody, and a lot of people come in from out of town, and who knows how many states away and stuff like that. But if they're a local establishment and they've been in business for, more than 5 years, 10 years, they're definitely probably a reputable company. Like you said, go on to Google search them, see how many 5-star reviews they have, see what people are saying, even though they may not have a 5-star rating, right? If it's a 4.7, just go in there and read, some of their comments in there that people were stating, like, because some people are kind of off their rocker too sometimes, and you can't let's face it, we can't keep everybody happy, but I feel like somebody that might have 5,000 5-star reviews, there's something wrong with that picture too. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some tool that they're using to give themselves that many reviews, referrals. I know a lot of times the insurance companies also want to use one of their recommended contractors, and I'm kind of on the fence about that unless we're the recommended contractor by the insurance company. I feel like because they always want to try to get away, let's face it, insurance companies are a business, right? And businesses are in business to stay in business and to be profitable. But a lot of times some things go down where I think a lack of experience from, whether it be the public adjuster or the homeowner, they both of which don't know any better. And that's where, I can't stress enough the importance of having an experienced contractor who has been in business more than 24 months, assesses your property, gives you a quote, inspects everything, whether it be from the electrical to the roofing, especially under circumstances like Ian was. I mean, at that point in time, everything needs to be inspected due to mold, due to electrical failure, due to plumbing failure. I mean, it's just, you got to make sure that you get yourself a good contractor. There will be a lot of contractors that will be swarming. Try to find somebody that you've seen before in the neighborhood doing work on a neighbor's house. Maybe ask your neighbors who they're using, and just get references. References is probably one of the biggest things as well, that I feel a homeowner should do, is vet, in order to vet a contractor correctly and properly. Just do their due diligence. Unfortunately, the repairs aren't going to happen to your home overnight, but as long as you can get a contractor up there to put a tarp on your roof and try to keep things as dry as they possibly can.
Yeah. And I mean, look, Ty, I mean, like, you bring up a great point with like the, 3 estimates and everything else like that. I mean, it's typically like, when I give out referrals, sometimes it's just, trying to make sure that like, hey, look, like if like I always do like a good, better, best type thing as well. And so like, maybe there's somebody that you have a better vibe with. Maybe there's someone that Ty has a better vibe with, right? Maybe there's someone, that, over here that, has a better vibe. It's just a matter of, understand that. But there's also a lot of great companies that I want you to, remember that, came down here to really help out. And it's because of them, a lot of this stuff got done that were out of state. They're trusted companies from their states that drove all the way down to kind of help out. And, you have those people too that you need to kind of like look into. So it's not necessarily always like the local thing, right? It's, some of these guys, that were down here, day 1, day 2, day 3, that came down to kind of help out. That was, trying to help out the community as well. So, there's a lot of different like caveats that you got to kind of like look at as well. So I just want to make sure that, there's some of these great companies out there like that I just want to kind of, remind you of as well, that, put their life on hold where they were, just to travel to come over and help.
True. Very true. Very true. And a lot of those guys that are traveling do have locations down there as well. Mm-hmm. No, that's a very good thing. What advice would you give a homeowner or a property owner to ensure smooth and successful claims process?
That's a great question for when we go through with my next steps.
Damn it.
Like, look, man, like I understand and like, trust me, like I want to say like all these different things that I've been learning and everything else, the insurance side is not necessarily like my most strongest thing that I know about the roofing industry. Right. And it's also one of the things that I love the most about it is because I get to learn all the different insides and outs so that I can tell you, Ty, so that you can better what you're doing and everything else. And so that you can help out everybody else. But I want to make sure that I have the proper steps so that one day when we're like 90 years old, you're like, hey, Josh, you SOB, you told me that step 4 was this one. Right. And it should have been step 5. Right. Right on. Like, that's why the team of lawyers, and that's why I chose who I did. They have such a great team of lawyers to help navigate through and answer all these different questions. There's public adjusters that are out there like that as well. There's different, contractors. I'm sure that you guys have a whole process that you guys are doing if you guys do have a disaster. I just know that there's certain things that can be held against you, like all the way down the way. And so I wanted to make sure that it is like word for word, like, hey, look, this is the exact step of what it needs to look like and how it needs to be.
Right on, man. No, I appreciate that.
I know it's a super political answer. I want to make sure. And, I'd love to have one of my lawyers on here to go through those steps.
Very non-political, right? Very neutral answer. There.
Sound like a lawyer now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sure. Well, it's just one of those things. I mean, look, I want things to be perfect. I don't want to have them, I don't want somebody to watch this one day and then be like, oh, well, he forgot to mention this. He's a dumbass, because, stuff like that does happen.
Yeah. And not only that, and you don't want to say something and then have someone do something that's going to end up hurting their claim or like putting them in a bad spot that's going to force it and make it harder for someone like yourself or your company that you're representing to get some of those damages fixed for them. I mean, if you don't put the right information out there and people do something wrong, you could potentially be making things worse than better.
Right. Yeah. And that's like, it's all about like the ethical side of things. It's just, hey, look, there's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you want to make sure that you walk down. And so that's why, the team of lawyers and even some of the different public adjusters and everyone else that we go out and try to help educate as well. we try to put them like in that line sight, because we want them to know, like, step on. I mean, you guys, I've been in this industry for like, a while, but like I said, it's just more or less, look, I want to make sure that people get into their houses faster and do everything that we can possibly. And so I don't want to misstep anything that I say that will kind of keep them out a little bit longer, until somebody, and if somebody else wants to come in here and tell these people that have been, hanging out not in their houses for the last 10 months and wants to criticize what I say, I'll tell them to just go stay with who these people are with right now, because it's a tough experience of what they go through. It sucks. I had stuff like when I had my fire, like my shit burned down, I went through the improper steps. I mean, I didn't realize that I was supposed to auto renew. It wasn't on auto renew. I had to renew stuff myself. Right. So it's just, there's different things that you do and say that have like tremendous consequences. And I don't want any of those people to make those same mistakes that I did at that point in time. And so I want them to make sure that they have those step-by-step process to kind of like really help out and move forward.
Right on. No, and I hope you do share that with us, because I'm curious, and I like how you worded that too. And plus the other thing is you do work for a long firm. So, right, you do have to be careful on what you say and how you say it, because it could be easily misinterpreted by whoever could watch this 3 years from now. And I apologize if you feel like I'm kind of drilling you a little bit.
No, I mean, you got it.
I love this topic.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to. I mean, and that's why, like for the next time, I want to have one of our lawyers that go on here that can actually drill down, that knows the inside and outs of the different, the different statutes and everything else, that they can read through these different steps. And, we can have like that, longer, intelligent conversation when it comes to the actual steps of, hey, how this is how we're going to help out the homeowners, and this is why. And, just, like I said, I mean, I just want to make sure that, I don't possibly hold anyone back from, getting back into their houses any point in time, because there's little things that people do that they don't even realize that they do or say that happens.
Yeah.
Or, or like people are like, oh, Josh, maybe they, the law firm has somebody that doesn't like them, then they're going to start saying, hey, they're giving bad information. So that's why I say the lawyers are going to be like the greatest aspect, like the greatest advocate to make sure that everything is done properly and ethically.
Yeah. So Josh, yeah, I believe so. From what I'm gathering out of the conversation here so far today, you had a calling that kind of brought you here to help people because of the devastation of the storm, to kind of help you do more to grow yourself as a person, and what you can contribute to society and that kind of stuff. What exactly is your plan over the next, we'll just say, year, to fulfill that with your company? What are the steps that you're taking to be able to do what you want to do over there?
Right. So right now we're actually putting together all these like different processes and steps, like our marketing plan, our sales plan, as far as, hey, look, this is what we got to do, like our education plan, as well as far as, hey, this is how we can do to like educate more people throughout the process, and some of the different, different steps that we need to take. Like I plan on traveling all throughout the state of Florida as well, making sure that people understand this. It's because, I'm telling you right now, like there's people that do not want to file claims, that, they might be underpaid, that it would mean the world to them, that they've been out of their house, they can't get back in. So anything that we can do to like do that properly and as quickly as possible, whether it's through, partnerships and everything else, that's, my whole goal and my drive is to help educate like all those different people as well. Because even when I was working at iRoofing, right, it's that same thing. It's just that education process is like, hey, look, so I gave this demo to the owner, right? He knows the insides and outs, but what about the guys that go along next to it, right? What are the steps that they're taking, or what are they saying properly or improperly that's going to take them away from, their ultimate goal? And I mean, like when you come down and look at it, I mean, it's just, all the different, procedures that you have set up within like your company, and trying to help educate them properly, and, the quickest way, and try to engage them to want to learn and understand, hey, look, you're paying for a service, when something happens, that's why you're paying for that service.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, that's when they're supposed to step up. And these are the steps that you need to take, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right, to get you in, you know, so much faster or whatever it might be and stuff like that as well. So
Right on. Right on. You know what I was just sitting here thinking too. I mean, with this thesis that you're getting ready to come up with and write, is it going to be more focused on helping and educating the homeowner or the contractor or both?
it's really both. I mean, you know, because you got to look at it. I mean, even contractors out there, they don't necessarily know like what they're doing or how to say things. And there are certain things that contractors can't say to homeowners as well.
Right on.
So that's part of it. Just making sure that they have certain things in place and they know and they understand. Hey, look, this is something that you got to watch out for. This is what you need to make sure that you know, you stay away from. You know, stuff like that. So
Right on.
I know. So
Right.
I know it's kind of like a basic answer, but you know, it's one of those things that you know, it's you know, I've been with them for, you know, a short time and stuff. So it's just a matter of kind of like building up the whole branding and everything else. I mean, making sure that people are, you know, people know and they see and they understand some of the different, you know, values and like those core values that, you know, that brought me over to Kanner Pintaluga. You know, like I said before, I mean, this is, you know, it by far wasn't like the top of the line choice, but the reason as to why I was doing it is to understand every little bit and piece of it to, you know, kind of help solve that puzzle for people. And anything that I can do to help them out, that's what I'm looking for. And like anything to help you guys out, that's what ultimately what, you know, I'm looking for. That's what the company's looking for as well. And I know that there's other people out there that's just like it. And that's what I want to do. You know, that's, you know, like I can't even say that enough. It's just there's so much. And when you see this and you feel it, like what they're going through, like that's why, like when I'm, you know, I'm so passionate about like, hey, look, I want to make sure I give you the right steps because it's bullshit. What they're going through is bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
For sure.
like it like upsets me. Like it's you know, it like hits me at like a different level. So
yeah, that's the shitty part about it, man. Cause it's like you said a key word earlier, man, ethical. When it comes down to it, man, a lot of these people have been paying insurance companies for 30 plus years for nothing to happen, to never need it. And a lot of people go through their lives and pay insurance companies on their vehicles and their homes and whatever else, their pets, and they don't ever use the insurance. But it's like the one time you do have to claim it, it's like, just do the damn ethical thing and cover my damages, man. Like my roof is gone. You know what I mean? Like the roof's in the neighbor's yard. Why are you fighting me about this? And it's like, well, you didn't check this box over here and do it within 30 days. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. It's got to be frustrating because especially in an area with such concentrated devastation, a highly populated area, the amount of claims that are coming in, I guarantee you, they're not getting the eyes on them that they should be getting. You know, where you know, Ty, if we would have a storm roll through up here and we get, you know, 15 houses in a community, that's a lot easier for a insurance company to deal with because the majority of those people probably don't have the same insurance company. But you know, when you have, you know, thousands of people that are all filing a claim, you know, within 3 days of each other, you're not getting the attention that you need on top of just the shady shit that seems to go on with insurance companies. So
yeah, it's a big wide thing, like, you know, kind of like what's going on, kind of like AI type thing. I don't know if you guys are into AI at all. Are you guys, you know, it's just you know, it's a rabbit hole because you don't necessarily know, and then when you try to start doing things differently or whatever, things change. It's just, you know, it's a constantly evolving process, and trying to help better it. You know, I want to make sure that I'm trying to be part of that as well, because I've, you know, like I said, like I've been through this stuff and I've seen what these guys go through, and, you know, it's emotionally draining. You know, you feel it like in your core when, you know, you hear these different stories, at least I do. And, you know, trying to help them out the best way that I possibly can at this current time, by like learning and understanding it inside and out. That's you know, that's my whole goal and purpose. And that's what's great about, you know, the Kanner Pintaluga is, you know, they've met with me and they go over different things, and it's just, you know, making sure that, you know, I know these different processes and procedures, and, you know, it's it's, you know, unless I was a lawyer, right, there's different things that you need to like be able to say or not say. So I want to make sure that I help these guys out as best I can. And sometimes it's just for me to zip it.
Yeah. No, great response to that. And, you know, I was just sitting there thinking, you know, how fortunate they are to have you, Josh, because the way that you present yourself and represent those that employ you or your team or those that you're working for is definitely astounding. And we, you know, we picked on you a little bit early on about, you know, we thought it was your last name and that we actually thought that I saw earlier that Jordan Harris, he giggled, but he thought the same thing as I did. I mean, you represented yourself and that company as if it was yours, right? And that says a lot about you. And you talked about integrity and those things earlier, and that's why you chose to go with the company that you're working for today, and you don't want to say anything to tarnish their reputation. And I get that, and I understand that, and I respect that, and that's just the kind of person that you are. You know what I mean? You're a stand-up dude, you're a family guy, and you know, just an all-around brilliant dude. And you know, I think I may even have talked to you about this, like, so what do you, because I was kind of hoping that I could bring you on the team somehow, some way, some shape, some form, you know. And just like with Ken Yance, I planted that seed, so that seed was planted, and I'll tend to water it every now and then.
In a couple of years, Josh.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, like, I want you to know that, you know, there's a lot of different like things and stuff that I believe that we could really work together on, Ty.
For sure.
You know, and I think, you know, there's so many different things that are coming out. You know, AI is one of them. I don't know if you guys have watched anything or done anything or tried AI or messed with it. I don't know if you've seen any of the different videos about, you know, how the AI is changing the way that like our military does, you know, builds weapons and everything else. I mean, that's you know, it's a scary world that's out there, but you also got to make sure that you're kind of like on top of it, you're in the know as well. But then also, how do you like better your guys' process by using AI, right? How do you save a little bit of your time? And you know, the contractors that are out there, I mean, that are still stuck kind of, you know, in these swivel chair activities, right? Like, even like you as an owner, like, hey, look, I got this system, I got this system, this system. How is it that, you know, all those systems can be automated together? And, you know, AI is not necessarily like the ultimate answer that's out there, but I you know, I employ everyone to kind of like look into it a little bit, to kind of like, you know, play around with it, you know, learn a little bit as far as, man, you got to take a look at what's going on out there in this world.
For sure. Definitely. There's a lot, not just with AI, but the roofing industry as a whole right now. There's a lot going on. And I don't think there's enough people out there paying attention to what's happening with whether it be acquisitions, mergers, roll-ups, technology. I mean, there's
what's going on over there?
What, in the roofing industry? There's all kinds of good shit going on.
You give us the tea. We don't give you the tea. That's not how this works.
Oh man, like I was hoping I might be able to get you guys to spill a little bit, man. Like,
well, you know, I actually had a talk with a gentleman today that he's actually gonna spill the tea. Asked me if it was okay if we spilled the tea, but there is what I consider a pretty huge merger that has recently taken place, and I haven't even announced this to our team yet. A couple handful selected people, but I don't even know. I think I might keep everyone in suspense and keep my mouth shut.
I feel like I could smell it. Just saying.
Yeah, but there's some big huge shit on the horizon. I can promise you that a lot of people, a lot of families and are going to be impacted very positively in the near future here, and potentially, maybe I'll put this out there, potentially some other locations opening up soon.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh
yep.
Yeah, no, that's
good tea. You kept it nice, and you just poked it a little bit. Now people are going to be coming back next episode to see if you spill the rest of the tea.
Yeah, now you poked in the
you know
barrel.
what? I may let some other individuals just spill the tea.
Nice.
I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
But
I
no,
mean, there's
the
there's so
roofing
much going on out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Private equity is definitely looking at the service industry right now, particularly the roofing restoration industry right now, and there's going to be a lot of changes that are coming, where a lot of big players are going to be rolling up with each other, and I don't know what that's looking like for the small mom and pop shops. You know what I mean? When you get some of the top, I'm just going to say top 100 roofing contractors, and when I say that, I'm talking residential roofing contractors in that space, or the residential space that may be rolling up. I don't know what that looks like for the small mom and pops. You know what I mean? I think there'll always be around, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder, and I think it's going to be bigger than the HVAC and the plumbing industry. When private equity was over there 10 years ago, sniffing around, and Horizon was one of the big ones, the Horizon HVAC company. That was a big acquisition, a big merger there. But I think, and it's funny because I've been having a lot of conversations about this with some other roofing contractors that may have already been bought, and that not actually exiting, but staying on. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you having your thing pop up again on purpose?
Yeah. But staying on. Yeah, but staying on with that company, and reinvesting into that equity firm, and allowing their team to actually invest in the company for like $1,000 a share, and making them as wealthy as the owner was prior to the first exit, but actually exiting it twice. So there's a lot of smart people in this space right now. And that's when I was talking earlier to you guys that, I've been studying a lot of stuff about acquisitions, mergers, equity, and things of that nature, like really how money moves and how money's going to be moving right now. There's Dan Barker talking about First National Members First Federal Credit Union. We offer commercial and personal insurance, and they also do a lot of other things. But he's definitely one of many people that I've had these discussions with. That's local money in our local area that are willing to invest in companies like us, and have. But anyhow, there's a lot of cool things. I could get down to. Go ahead. You got a question?
Oh, no. I said it kind of sounded like you were kind of alluding to it again there a little bit there. There at the end, you said invest in us type thing. So I was like, oh,
yeah. Well, at some point in time, you learn how to leverage other people's money, right? And there for the longest time, you put a lot of sweat equity in, and you dump your money into it, and then after a while, you realize that people actually want to start investing in you, whether it be their time or monetarily, right? And when that starts to happen, because you have a good reputation financially, personally, morally, ethically, and all the above, you start to build like-minded relationships with like-minded people, and it becomes success by proximity. And I feel like we've been in a position of authority in that area for a minute, but I think maybe it was kind of going over my head a little bit. And I think a lot of people think that I was just being probably snubbish, when really I was just ignorant. You know what I mean? I just didn't know any better. I was kind of blinded to the situation or position that we've put ourselves in. Yeah, I know that, Vic. I see that, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyhow, I just realized I really knew how to actually remove that from, anyhow, I didn't really give a shit.
I wonder how many scans are going to get on that. Are going to go on that QR. That's where the T is, guys. Scan it up.
Yeah, scan it up. But yeah, that should be. I mean, Joshua, we can definitely get on another podcast and talk about that kind of stuff, and maybe we have someone coming on soon that would actually really enjoy, and I feel like Joe Huffman would probably be a good one. He's been researching and educating himself, I'd say, on probably at least the past 24 months on that stuff. So he definitely knows a lot more than I do about it. And I feel like he's a guy that really wants to help other contractors and in this space. And he knows his shit right now. And he knows a lot of other people that know more shit than he does. And he's been able to surround himself around a lot of smart people. And I'm just dabbling right now with this stuff. So again, just like you, I don't want to get too far and say something stupid, which I probably already did, but I'm kind of used to that anyhow. But anyhow, we are an hour and 20 minutes into this.
And just real quick, I just wanted because my girls are watching, so they're actually at their mom's for a little bit. So I just want to say hello, my little munchkins. I love you. And then this for you guys as well, just to remind, I appreciate you guys and everything that you guys do. And everybody that's coming in and out and help me with like the different things, and that's part of the way that I want to just try to help back with some of the different bits of knowledge and stuff that I have as well. So I do appreciate you guys. And my dad's birthday is actually tomorrow, so happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Josh's dad.
Yeah, Josh, we'll support and promote your brand wherever you go or whatever direction you decide to take. Just like we did with iRoofing, you saw us at the shows when we were on the road, and how much of your swag that we had laying around just because we think you're a cool dude. And you're an awesome father. You know what I mean? There you were shouting out your kids, hi munchkins, that's definitely something that has resonated quickly with me when it comes to you and the type of guy that you are. You got to be a kick-ass father before you can become a kick-ass leader, and you're both. So kudos to you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And look, I have both their cups that they got me for Father's Day. So I just make sure that they know that that I am using both. So and I just love them, and I know that they're watching or will at some point, and they're going to correct everything that I say worse than probably the lawyers will, but
yeah.
But
right. Yeah. So the company that you work for, is it a national company or just only the state of Florida?
So we're in the state of Florida and then also Colorado. And then there's vision to kind of expand out into other areas at some point in time, but it's just a matter of kind of like, mastering Florida and starting to kind of dabble over into Colorado as well. Because we do have some attorneys that are licensed over there, but mainly Florida, just to, that's where I'll be mainly. I might go to Colorado just for a few days or whatnot, just to kind of go out there and see what's out there. And, I've like gone all over Colorado. I love Colorado. But, I also know a lot of different people and stuff like that as well. So, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I'm super excited to just, what's that?
Go ahead.
No, I said I am excited to just be in Florida for a little while and just, really help out everyone I can here. Personally, contractors, PAs, especially the homeowners, or, people that aren't homeowners that are kind of out there. So I'm glad I get to kind of stay home for a little bit and not be traveling all over.
Yeah. No, I get that. I totally understand that. Believe me. So what's the best way for someone to get a hold of the team that you work for today in the state of Florida if they need your assistance?
Yeah. So you guys can go to hurricane-damage.com. There also shows like a little bit about us as well. That way they can take a look at some of the different instances. They can look at, some of the different, property damages that we do claim, because, it's not just hurricane, it's, wind, it's hail, it's rotten pipes, maybe, that flooded the whole floors out. A lot of different things on there as well that they can gather a lot of that information.
Right on.
And they can always, reach out to me directly too.
Right on. If you could put that in the comments for us, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
HurricaneDamage.com.
HurricaneDamage.com. What a great episode, man. This was a great 186th episode of Behind the Tool Belt. Hopefully you guys got some good info on it. We appreciate everyone that watches religiously and supports us. If you guys have not done so, please hop over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and show Josh here some love on his Facebook too, man. He's a good dude. a good ambassador for the roofing company, out there in the trenches fighting for what's right for these people down in Florida that are still being affected by Hurricane Ian. Ty, we're excited to have you back, brother.
Yeah.
Excited to be back.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourself. Ted, tell Janet that the whole team says hi. We miss you guys. And Josh, it's been great. Thank you for dedicating an hour, almost 2 hours of your night to us here, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys as well, and congratulations again on the 15 years and
Thank you.
any other thing that comes along.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My man.
All good. Yeah.
Love you guys,
Thank you.
man.
Yeah,
You
everyone
too.
enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you guys for episode 187 next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. Yeah, Central. Why the hell did I just say Central? 7 p.m. Eastern for episode 187. See you.
See ya.